15,000 kilometers ago, this troopy right here looked like this.
Stock as a rock.
Chris has asked me to consult him and advise him on this build. What are the non-negotiables? It's not in your budget. You're not sure about that one, are you?
You will see the results of the flipped layout, which is completely opposite to 99% of right-hand drive troopies.
Chris is well over halfway with what I think is one of the most practical, well thought out and lightweight, all-in-one troopies, which he got super bogged recently in the middle of nowhere.
Strap yourself in, get your notepad out.
We'll get into Chris's car. What advice you listened to and what advice maybe you shouldn't have listened to, and how much did your recovery cost?
Cost the price of a winch. Kind of wish I had one at the time.
Yeah, I think I told you not to get a winch.
You did, actually.
But you should have got muddies too. We've just completed the Gun Barrel Highway a day ago actually, 2 days ago maybe. Just came out of Northern Territory last night. We're about 100 k's into South Australia. Gorgeous campsite, have a look at it. And if you walk about 100 paces in this direction, you are met with the highway. In fact, it was that windy last night, we had to find a bridge to hide behind. How bad was the wind last night?
Yeah, it was hectic. The troopy was getting thrown around.
So mate, you've been a bit busy.
No, it's been crazy. The amount we've done in the last month just to get it ready for the gun barrel has been insane, but it's all coming together, eh? Still got a lot to do.
The saying goes, never install stuff to your vehicle within a week before you leave. Well, last night, ladies and gentlemen, we're 2 days into our travels and we installed a ladder last night.
Still going.
Is there anything else still need to put on?
When a joke becomes reality, I'm tightening his U-bolts because he did his suspension literally days before we left.
Let's hit the gun barrel. Get back on it.
The basis of it is here. All the cabinetry work done. Yeah, it's working really well actually. I'm stoked with it. Really happy with it.
Despite my convincing advice, Chris has gone and done this.
You've stuck to the skinny tyres, mate.
Yeah.
There'll be a few troopy owners that'll be quite proud of you for doing
I
that.
think it's a more classic look for this vehicle, especially with the midnight blue colour. I think it kind of works with it as far as aesthetics go. You know, there's still a large tile and I'm getting a really good footprint.
There's something I am upset about though.
I know what you're going to say. I know exactly what you're going to say. And I know when I saw your face when you saw the car with the new wheels on it, there was disappointment.
I suggest you put mud terrains on this car. No, the areas you go to, a mud terrain will actually serve you better. You've got sound deadening everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
It'll be nice and quiet.
It is his car, so I don't want to stuff it. These big muddies are great, eh?
Well, that's why I'm telling you to get muddies.
I know you are. I'm still not sold, mate. It's wicked. Man, this thing just eats it up, eh? Okay, I want muddies.
Be nice and slow on the leaf pack on the back there. Yep, beautiful, mate. Well driven.
I believe those tyres, how they just feel so spongy, you know, and grippy.
You just got to go to muds, mate.
Yeah, I felt in control the whole time. I'm almost sold, you know.
Almost, he
maybe
says.
Maybe 75% there, but...
Really? 75%?
All terrains. What is with that, mate?
Yeah.
You even said
I know.
numerous times.
I know. I was almost over the line, you know.
You were over the line.
I know, I was. Okay, I want muddies. Muddies.
Over
the line, but then I came back and... But you know what? The next set I put on, I reckon are going to be muddies, 100%. I'm just not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Not there yet?
But I did get stuck the other day.
Yes, let's talk about that now, because that's what I was going to bring up.
Would have the muddies made any difference, you know?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly, because once all terrains are stuck in mud, no hope.
Oh, nah, that was
no
spinning.
Hope.
Completely. Just spinning.
Muddies, slight chance. Yeah. If mud ain't flying,
you ain't trying.
You ain't trying.
Thanks, Betchy. I've still got the sticker there on the other side. You see that?
Well, let's just walk around the car real quick. All the obvious stuff will just fly past.
Bull bar, you know, bull bar. I think it looks great. Spotties, had a couple of attempts at them, but got there in the end.
Now, no winch.
No winch. We are going to come back to that. Let's talk about that later.
Parabolic suspension, what's the difference and does Chris actually rate it?
definitely need to increase the load on the rear leaves because he's putting a bit of weight in the back. Suspension, question mark. Hopefully we get away with it. Just minimal stuff, I reckon. Maybe just upgrade the shocks. Before we hit the gun barrel highway, the loopy got fitted with all the internal stuff and it started to sag in a bum a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So because of that, Chris went ahead and did a 2-inch lift suspension on it with parabolic suspension. I'll get to that in a second. Was it like 2 days before?
Yeah, it was a bit of a last minute sort of thing, but the guys from Terrain Tamer were able to get them in nice and quick, so I was rapt about that.
I was tightening U-bolts while we're at Carnegie Station, which is the most remote station in Australia. That trip is coming up later on the channel and you'll see how the vehicle behaved itself. For those who don't know what a parabolic suspension is, parabolic leaf suspension, this is your conventional leaf, like that. Rough, rugged, that's the kind of ride you get. Great for load carrying. But there is another option and that's parabolics. Parabolics, as you can see, consists of less leaves. This is your load spring. So once you load it up, this will come down and rest on this rubber bump stop here inside the parabolics. And that's to reduce the noise because parabolics can get a little bit noisy. So are they better? I think they're better. They give you more flex on the rear. When you're not loaded up, it's more of a comfortable ride from my experience when I used to have some on my 79 series, as opposed to having a big leaf pack, which is quite rough and rigid. This suspension system flexes, you'll often find that this may droop down as the wheel droops down, and people are often worried about this getting stuck on rocks. But I've never actually experienced that happen. I guess you can tell us how it did feel for you, but
Yeah.
I think we'll swap cars next time.
Yeah, totally.
And then we'll both get more of an idea.
Yeah, it was good having it on the gun barrel. We took it down some pretty rough tracks and on some rocky sections. It articulated like really well, I thought. Like it felt good, felt in control. We had a fair bit of weight in it as well. Jesus. Oh. This wrap was done by Mad Ink. It's insane. The guys that put this on are just the masters of it. And I'm so impressed with it. Took it out the other day, scratched the absolute hell out of the car, and you wouldn't know.
I was enjoying watching you, how impressed you were with the wrap.
It's wicked. Jesus. Well, that's getting a little bit scratchy. Oh. I was always going to get some type of wrap. For the work I do, it's essential. It makes me, I just feel more confident now on tracks because I'm doing so much work. And also the paintworks on these is really thin. Yeah. Like they've pretty much halved since what they used to be. Whoa! Well, that last little session we went through, fairly scratchy. I've just noticed this scratch going right through. If I didn't have the coating on, I'd be freaking because it's a decent scratch. I mean, I'm still a bit wary, but...
Well, I mean, you're still a bit wary? I don't think so. You're like driving through trees, so I actually moved the tree.
I'm keen to test it out though.
Yeah, I know, but you also don't want to dent the car. Funny thing with your car, you can't actually tell that it is wrapped. It's got a gloss finish.
Yeah.
Whereas 76 over here, it's got that stealth finish. Yeah, I was really trying to talk you into stealth, but...
I've seen Ronny's and I think it looks awesome on Ronny's, but I like the classic look.
I'm really leaning towards the Fusion as well because the gloss really brings out the lines in this car.
Yeah, I thought the matte it looked good, but just something about this car that needed to keep it glossy. So I just didn't want to, like it works wicked on your car, but it didn't suit the Bloopy at all.
I think you made a right call too.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's not one scratch on it, and I'm wrapped with it.
You went and done a few things.
With your advice, I've had the fuel filter put in.
Protecting the main filter before it gets to the engine.
Okay.
So secondary filter will be here, main Toyota filter here, then it goes to the engine.
A few reasons, a lot of outback travel. Secondly, I have ran this car dry twice. Used to the Prado, it has, obviously automatic switch over to the second tank, while this one you have to manually do it.
Even if you're not doing outback, it's a really cheap mod and it's just extra insurance because not all insurance companies actually cover dodgy fuel.
Okay.
That's another thing.
And then the diff breathers. When I was a young fella, I had a Land Rover and actually screwed my diffs up by getting water in it. Yeah, don't want to make that mistake again. Got diff breathers in it and we're out bush a lot and we do a lot of water crossing. So, two really important things.
The most interesting part,
The flip around of the internal fit out. Does it work? And if it does, why does no one else do it?
this is going to be reversed. because of the way Chris wants to use his Troopy.
Meaning it's flipped. In order to keep visibility out of the passenger side, Chris has to compromise on the cabinet heights. There are some unknowns still to be seen.
Even the fridge is on the opposite side. There's a lot going on. It's not going to make any sense until you see it.
To talk about what you were just discussing, Ronnie, I basically flipped it. So the bed's on this side, usually they're on that side. The reasoning why, we explained in the last video, but in case you don't know, was to be able to access this space from the awning side. So being able to access this top space seemed really useful and practical. Not really sure why people don't do that and why they flip it. I was trying to work out a reason.
That's a great question. Why does no one do the flip around? I wonder if it's because people don't like to do things that are outside the norm, outside the classic setup. That's just my thoughts though. What do you think is the reason?
In Western Australia, most of the time you're outdoors. I rarely spend time in there.
For this flipped concept to work efficiently, it still needs a few tweaks, which Chris's barista pointed out. Yep, Cafe Bloopy has its very own barista.
How you going?
Good, how are you?
Just a flat white, actually no, I'll order a skinny flat white, extra hot with oat milk.
What are you on about, mate?
Just a flat white.
Okay.
What you should do here?
Hey, personal space, mate.
Oh, sorry, mate.
What are you doing, mate?
I'm just visioning a big window. It pulls up like this. Open up heaps more room for you.
That's what I've been saying to the owner for ages.
So the concept here, which we talked about on the last episode, was to get the gull wing in here, to be able to open it, be able to serve coffees from here, and also just use it as a bench space. Still waiting for the gull wing. Ronnie came up with the idea of just sort of having a clamp on.
The table that I propose, it'll come down and then you can flip it like that. That way it's not going to tamper with the bodywork. Chris can stand here on his laptop, he can still access the bench in there.
Being able to clamp onto there and actually come down a little bit lower just to have a work table here, which a lot of people have the max track table here. So I'm just kind of trying to keep the lines really clean. So I've gone against having stuff connected to the side of the car.
I find that we've been hanging out here while Chris has been in there or Raph has been making the coffees.
Yeah, that's true. It's a bit like the Cafe Prado. It's always creating that space for people to congregate. And
Cafe Prado producing the goods.
Hang out, especially if it's raining under the awning.
Imagine if we left the awning out in that wind last night. Probably tip your car over.
I reckon it would have. It was so windy.
Actually, speaking of the awning, I can get a shot. Exact same awning that's on my 78, my Troopy, the V8 version. Bloopy being a 2.8.
I think maybe one of the only square awnings, the fact that these come out and it just offers so much shade, it's unbelievable. It's super strong. I mean, it's even windy today. It's fine. It's totally fine. Big one, Australian made, that's really cool. And it comes with this really cool gutter wrapped about that. That was one thing that the Prado didn't have. And when it rained, all the water went straight into the kitchen, which was crap.
Extendable arms and that. Is it short? Does it pack shorter than other awnings?
It does. I think it's, for the size of it, I think it's on par, if not a little bit less, shorter on the vehicle.
Speaking of awnings, there's the man himself. Hey, Raph.
Hello.
Barista, awning designer.
He does a good job.
Cafe Bloopy is going good. It's going well. I think it's going to be a successful business. There it is. Best coffee on the Outback.
Wow, it's such a beautiful location as well. Thanks, mate.
It is.
That's awesome. Beautiful site. Man's engineering, unbelievable.
Having coffee anywhere, especially at a beautiful place like this, eh?
She's a bit rough. Find what you can.
Last night.
No, we were actually stoked when we arrived. Thought it was the best camp out.
When doing something outside of the norm, like flipping this entire concept, it does come with an increased risk of problems, which are not completely revealed until it's done. And what are those potential risks?
The fridge is going to be right where you are.
Yeah, yep.
It'd be interesting to know if you can actually open it with just that one door.
I can just open this one door and access the fridge, which is cool. Because if you're on the side of the road and you just want to quickly get in there and grab a drink, it's nice and easy.
I didn't even pay attention to that while we were away. It actually works really well.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Thank you.
No worries. Toby at Odyssey really helped with the design and everything. It's totally custom built. So whatever I wanted to change, Toby was keen to do it. Some of the things he thought I was a bit nuts with. It's
like flipping the whole thing?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he could understand the theory behind it, and I think he thought it was really cool, and I know he loves it now. Maybe he'll do more in the future. All right, ready for the grand tour?
I am.
Upright fridge, instead of the chest fridge, which I bloody love, eh? It's really good. I mean, it's not a huge fridge.
And I've got a freezer as well, pack up chicken and mince and stuff in there. So it just keeps us going for a little bit longer. Just being able to access everything really easily, it's been great.
Below that, got a drawer. It's always a bit concerning when you open a drawer, when you haven't looked in there. Hey, Harry. You know what I'm talking about, Ronny?
Yeah, if you know, you know.
You know, you know. Stuff that I need to easily access. Got a little cupboard here, that's cool. Couldn't get a drawer in there, so he's just put it on magnets. That's because of the corner there. Let's delve into the kitchen. This is awesome. He's done such a great job with this.
You're keeping us hanging.
It's very similar to the Prado. Pantry at the back here. All right, then you've got your cooker in here. He's put magnets on here and cut out for the gas bottles. Oh yeah. Just stops it from rattling around. Awesome attention to detail there. This one comes out.
So this creates a really good workspace for cutting stuff up. And then under here, I've got some really compact, lightweight pots and pans and stuff. So I've been able to store absolutely everything in here, which is cool.
So these all pop out, silicon sides on them. By Sea to Summit, they're wicked, eh? I'm really loving them.
They are actually pretty cool.
They're really cool. And I've got everything in here. Even the kettle, everything. So, you know, to store everything in one little spot, amazing.
All meals that weren't cooked on the fire were actually cooked on the back of the bloopy.
Yeah. Nice. Same colour as the interior as well.
Look at that.
Hey?
There's your travel companion.
We have a feel.
You're supposed to be sitting in the car when you do that. But
It's funny. Well, these look really cool. On long journeys, this has been great.
do you recommend them?
Yeah, they're good. The guys that actually put them together are good guys apparently. Never met him, but yeah.
You want to get one yourself? Jump on the store. There's a link right there.
The Bloopy's concept is the all-in-one. Living space, bedroom, office, storage, and utilities. How did Chris do it, and how is it working out for him?
Just explain to people where, in fact, you sleep in this thing now.
I've been sleeping in the back here. This thing slides over and basically creates a bed. Then this slides across and this piece here slides down. I'd say a king single bed size. Be cozy with two, I reckon, but with one person, it's really comfy. And then the windows open up. I've just got some snap shades on the sides, keeps the mozzies out, gets airflow through, so that's been working really well. Been pretty warm. I'm actually thinking about getting a little fan put in. Yeah, that would help a lot, just with airflow, because obviously you got to lock it up.
The heat we've been dealing with has been up in the 40s quite a bit.
I think in the evening it was 32, 33 degrees. Yeah. So it was pretty warm, I was sweating it. So the idea behind it is obviously it makes a nice couch. Raf's been working in here this morning, sending off a few bills and bits and pieces. So being able to work on the road, it's cool, you know, dumping vision, that sort of thing. So it's really an office on the road.
So this is the workstation through here. It's done a little pull-out little bench, which is cool for laptop. Really comfortable. I've been working in here quite a bit actually, especially when it's really windy. Get out of the elements. Heaps of drawers, great drawers. Amazing amount of storage in here, which goes around the wheel arch as well. It's amazing how they can plan it all out on CAD. And underneath the bed, obviously your pantry pulls into here, but it has got a nice little space along the side there. So I put my seats in there and a few other little bits and pieces. There's a little hatch there. I don't even know what that hatch is. I've never noticed that one before. Jeez, I'm still finding new hatches.
Cool thing in the car that you just want to show everyone. This is probably it. This is a 3D printed vent that actually opens up. So I love that. That's really cool. My water, hot and cold. I've got a compressor and an Anderson plug in there as well. The water tank's yet to come. Doing container water on this trip. Always nice having a water tank with.
Especially when it's 42 degrees, eh?
Yeah. We drank a lot. It was just hot, I think. We just drank a lot of water.
Tell us really quick about the power.
It's all very snug in. The power system was done by a good mate, Richard, from Adventure Off-Road Training. The attention to detail with him was just incredible. It's not something you really want to stuff around with. It's complex and yeah, you got to find that right person and make sure it's all working and checked out. He's done a brilliant job. All my camera gear actually sits in here and Toby's actually built a little divider that I put up when I'm traveling. Stops the gear from, you know, falling back, just locks the gear in. So I've got this whole little cubicle that I can work with. That's the beauty of doing things yourself, I suppose. You can add all these cool little features in. This is my electrical box in here. So this is where all my electrics run from. A power board in there as well. And you can open it from two sides. It's wicked. It's so good being able to access it through that door.
How many amp hours you got, inverter, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we're always on the road. We're traveling every day. So having a 2000 watt inverter with a 150 amp hour battery, ample amount of power, so I can charge all our drones, all that sort of gear, and coffee machines, and now Starlink, which, you know, It's actually been pretty good on this trip, I must admit. It is. Look, when we're working on the road, you got to be, turn it off around the fire, that's for sure, because I find we're all a bit addicted to our phones. So.
The top here, we have R2D2, a little pop-up power. So how good's that? That's fancy.
You now
that's
have to make the R2D2 noise.
Only Rafa can do that one.
Raf, say R2D2, does the noise for it. Yeah. So that's that's been named R2D2, and then having that workspace, it's good. I'm really loving it compared to the Prado, just that extra space.
With the 70 series, many people don't understand why you would get one, because you don't get a lot with them. Why did Chris go from a VX Prado, which I would consider like a luxury car, to a GXL Troopy that doesn't have a lot of the stuff? I get why people don't get it. You've got to be a certain type of person that needs that particular need.
Type of person.
Well, yeah, it is the kind of type of person. The way I see it, you can either buy a remote control car that everything's assembled in it, or you can buy a Lego car where you got to put everything together yourself. Are you a converted 70 series owner? Have you come from the light side of actually having a car with things in it to enjoying a car with not much in it?
Yeah, the cult classic. I love it, eh? I reckon they're great. I love the fact that they're just such a blank canvas and you can do so much with them. Took a little bit to get used to the drive of it. The front seats aren't as good as the Prado and all the rest of it, but I figured that would always be the case anyway. The drive's a lot different. It's taken me a little bit getting used to. It's a bit more floaty, I find, the 70. Top heavy, as we found out the other day. I was freaking out when I was...
Don't bounce the brake, just keep going, trust it.
Oh, no. I'm freaking in those wombat holes. Thought I was going to tip it.
Keep going, yep.
Whoa.
There you go.
That's freaky, man. The big one actually on the gun barrel, and I felt it pretty quickly on the gun barrel, was I was fishtailing on that soft sand.
Because of that offset is different to the front.
Yeah, yeah.
I want you to take it on a soft beach first for yourself, and then you can see how it behaves. Now, having skinnier tyres is going to exaggerate it, I'd imagine, with the whip out. Like mine did it.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Are you
really
surprised how much you noticed it?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
I was. I actually, to be honest, when I first felt it, I thought something else. It was something else. Maybe the sand was real soft, or I had a flat tyre or something.
I warn everyone who gets the 70 series about that. They usually say, I haven't really noticed much, and then one day they'll notice it.
Yeah.
And that's
I definitely noticed it. That's just part of owning a 70. Saying to you before, there is no other car I can think of that gives you such a blank canvas to work from.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, and it comes with an expense because you've got to put all that stuff in. Oh, it's electric aerial here, Ronnie.
It's not electric. No, it used to be.
Really?
It used to be. Yeah, they took it. They removed the electric aerial.
But it's so much fun, like creating something that's yours, and that you can build the way you want it. And of course, there's compromise, and there's a few things that I may have got wrong as well.
So you're happy with the build so far?
Yeah, it's awesome. Absolutely love it, eh? There's always compromise, but...
Is it ready for the canning?
Not quite, but it's getting there. Not too far away now. In the next couple of months, I reckon I'll get it finished.
We need to do a shakedown before we do the canning.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.